Sharks fans! My name is Jacob Boyd, and I'm here with Hello Sharks fans, and I am your host today with going over the San Jose Sharks day one of free agency. All right, Sharks fans, we have some big news coming out of San Jose. The San Jose Sharks have made two moves thus far in free agency. It's about 4 p.m. As we are doing this podcast. And we're going to go ahead and welcome in Tyler Toffoli, a right wing forward who has amazing skill. He's what you call a sniper in every sense of the word. He just puts the puck in the net, and he has high compete, and he pretty much is a playoff caliber player on all of his teams throughout his career. So, I mean, very rare has he missed the playoffs. And it's just another move that Mike Grier is really considering free agency as players that he wants to take from, playoff winning teams. I mean, he got Nico Sturm, a couple years ago. And but Tyler Toffoli is one of those guys that, we needed a first or second line winger to score the puck, this year. And you get that with Tyler Toffoli. And I'll be able to pull up his stats right now. Let me go ahead and do that for you guys, just so that you can see what we're working with here. Let's go Tyler Toffoli. So as you see on the screen here, he started his career with the Los Angeles Kings, and obviously started out in the playoffs. Even he got 12 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, with 6 points, and was a +5 in his very first season. And then another playoff stint the very next season, and then the LA Kings missed the playoffs in 2014, 2015. But as you can see here, in only like 5 seasons, he's missed the playoffs out of his whole NHL career. And, he had a really deep run with the Montreal Canadiens in the 2020-2021 season, where he scored 5 goals and 9 assists. He was a -6, but as you can tell, he put the puck in the net, and he also helped with doing that as well. But he's the most recent years, he's coming over from the Calgary Flames in 2022-2023, where he played a full 82 game season and scored 34 goals and 39 assists with 73 points. And he was a +16. I mean, incredible season. I think that was his best season in his career, actually. And so it's one of those where, that was only 2 seasons ago. And I cannot tell the fan base, the Sharks fan base, enough that this guy is he has a ton of compete, and he scores when it counts. And, he's a 30+ goal scorer. And so, I mean, I don't know what else we can look for in a player. And we only signed him to a $6 million AAV 4-year contract, 24 million total. So I love the move by Mike Grier. And we needed that scoring punch up at the top of the lineup. So great job, Mike Grier. And then last year, he split time with the New Jersey Devils and the Winnipeg Jets. The New Jersey Devils weren't going to make the playoffs last year, so they traded him to the Winnipeg Jets at the trade deadline. But he did score 26 goals with the Devils and then 7 goals with the Jets. So he got his 30 plus goals there. And then he totaled 55 points last year. So just a great season again. It's not the 73-point season with the year prior, but that was a career high. So if I were to expect something from Tyler Toffoli, I would expect something around the low 50s point production is the hopeful that you're going to get with Tyler Toffoli. You're hoping that he gets around 30 goals and put the puck in the net. That's what he's going to be there for. I hope that he can provide that for the Sharks. And that way, we're going to be better than, what we've been. And it's going to be something to, it's going to make it where San Jose Sharks fans want to spend money on tickets to go see the San Jose Sharks next year. And we're not going to be, this overpowering team because, we are pretty young. But this signing shows, that we're moving into the future and we're getting better. And that's what you want to see as Sharks fans. So that's it for this player. So I'm excited and I want to welcome Tyler Toffoli to the San Jose Sharks. And I hope you can be that player that Sharks fans need you to be, basically. Put the puck in the net. Next, we have signed Alex Wennberg. Alex Wennberg is coming over from the New York Rangers, and he's 6'2" center coming over from the Rangers, and he scored 10 goals and had 20 assists for a total of 30 points. He's a former first-round pick, number 14 overall by the Columbus Blue Jackets. And let me go ahead and pull up the stats for you guys here because I think that you're going to want to see this. Let's go ahead and share this for you. There you are. So with Alex Wennberg, his last 2 seasons, he's scored, 38 points and 30 points respectively. He was with the Seattle Kraken for the last 3 seasons, but he got traded at the trade deadline to the New York Rangers and played quite well actually for them. But he's around a 10 to 13 goal scorer per season, and he gets around 20 to 30 assists or 20 to 25 assists per season as well. So you're probably going to expect around 30 to 35 points next year for the San Jose Sharks is your hope. Obviously, maybe even you hope a little bit more than that just because he might be playing a little bit higher role. But maybe not. It all depends on, what Logan Couture and how he feels. Because Wennberg is kind of one of those slotted in, probably a third line center, in my opinion. But he could play second line center minutes. And whether Couture, plays or doesn't play, that's going to really depend or see where Alex Wennberg and how many minutes he's going to play. Wennberg is a very defensive minded center. And he's going to give the San Jose Sharks another good penalty killer. He's going to be good in that defensive zone face-off area where he could play that defensive shutdown role. Whether it's on the second or third line, he's going to be playing defensive responsibility. And again, another Mike Grier going out and getting more compete level, more harder to play against in their own zone. People that will do the little things to chip pucks out and play the game the right way. So Wenberg also, when he was with the Seattle Kraken, he played almost 19 minutes a game, which is pretty high for a player that doesn't score as much as Wenberg does. But that's just telling you that even the coaches for the Seattle Kraken are giving him, the keys to the car, essentially. They're basically saying, I want you out there in every situation. I have trust in you, and you're going to most likely win those battles, and basically not get the puck scored against us. And he'll give you every opportunity to score for you. So that's a good sign for the San Jose Sharks and what they're going to get with him. Once he was traded to the New York Rangers, he scored 1 goal and 4 assists in 19 games. And he only played about 15-22 per game, and only was a -1. And this was on a really good New York Rangers team. So he was playing third, fourth line minutes and still getting 15 minutes a night. So, that's just something to look at for Sharks fans, where even on good team, he's playing 15 minutes a night. So good on his part. Then I just pulled up the playoffs stats. The playoff stats, he's been in the playoffs almost every year. He's been in the league as well. Kind of like Tyler Toffoli, he's missed a few, but really getting another player that is playoff tested, and he knows what to do in big games. And yes, he is a minus player in most of his playoff stretches, but just look at the +5 in 10 games in 2020. That was a remarkable stretch, but he's basically getting 16 to 19 minutes a night in the playoffs. And anytime you're over the 16, anytime you're over like the 12-minute mark in the playoffs, you're reliable. And he was production as 130, 129 in this last year's playoffs. Just a remarkable feat. Anything over, 50 to 60 is really good. He was 131. So just a really good, strong player for the San Jose Sharks team. A lot of people might look at just the point production and say, hey, this guy doesn't seem like he's worth $5 million. It's not all about the points that you look at, though. It's, what do they do in crucial situations? What are they not letting the other team put the puck in your own net? That's what players Mike Grier has gone after. He traded for Carl Gunstrom, who does that. He picked up Barclay Goodrow, where he had a lot of playoff experience and grit and determination to win every night. Maybe his point production is not there, but he went out and got him. Ty Dellandrea, he has postseason experience from Dallas. He obviously didn't play as many postseason games because, he was on just a really deep team, but he had a couple games. And he played really well in last year's playoffs, and he got a lot of playing time because they weren't as deep. But he went and got playoff caliber players that are gritty and know how to win. And that's what I really, looked at with what Grier did this free agency and this offseason, was to really go out and get stronger, tougher, to play against and have more compete. I think that was a huge lack last year in that department. And when you aren't winning a lot and you are going through tough times, you need guys like this to change the outlook of, how a team plays. And this is going to give Coach Ryan Warsofsky a lot of different flexibilities with the lineup. And it's going to be incredible to see how and where he pairs everybody up, because I know Tyler Toffoli is going to be on the top two lines, just depending on where. And that Wennberg is probably going to be on the power play number 2, but you're most likely going to see all these different players play a pivotal role going forward. And we'll see starting next year where these players end up, whether we trade them at the deadline or we keep them moving forward. This is kind of like a prove it type of year for most of these players that we brought in. Obviously, Tyler Toffoli is going to be there for the remainder of his contract, most likely, because we got him to goal score, and that contract would be hard to move. But this Alex Wennberg move, you only have him for 2 years at $5 million. So it's kind of one of those prove it deals where, hey, we're going to give you a really good contract, pretty much overpaying about, for $5 million for 10 million for 2 years, 5 million AAV. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that contract lives up, because a lot of people say, hey, why are you paying 5 million for 30 points? But I think what Sharks fans will understand is, that compete level factors in here. And we have a lot of guys that compete now. So I'm really excited for these 2 moves that Mike Grier has done. And we'll see how it all transpires throughout the season. But I wanted to go ahead and get into not just these 2 free agents, but kind of show you guys my layout for what I think the lines can be in the coming, or not in the coming years, but this coming year. So let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys. All right. So I have in my 2024 lines with Celebrini, but without Couture in the lineup. So basically, this first one, it's, hey, Celebrini has signed and Couture is not back from injury yet. So right now, I have Granlund on the left wing, Celebrini, who's going to be manning that top first line, and then I have Tyler Toffoli. So I got a mix of veterans with the newest Shark and I want to say next generational player for the San Jose Sharks. You got a ton of skill on this line, and the way Celebrini plays is very unselfish. Same with Granlund, very unselfish play, a pass first kind of guy, where Granlund's going to find Celebrini and Toffoli all night long. And that could be like one of those powerhouse, lines where that line could be underrated because it's just a ton of skill. and then the sniper with Toffoli. So you're gonna find this line becoming like a really, really good point producer for the San Jose Sharks if it pans out that way, that Ryan Warsofsky looks at it this way. Then on my second line, I have William Eklund, Alex Wenberg, and Fabian Zetterlund. I had this line as the second pair because I wanted Eklund and Zetterlund to keep playing together. They're best friends off the ice, and I just feel that they had a really good connection last year. And I didn't want to break those two up. And then you just slot Wenberg in there, more of a defensive first kind of guy, where you got Eklund, who is kind of the he's kind of more of a pass first guy, but very more like getting most of his goals on the power play. So I have Eklund, and then Zetterlund would be the sniper of this group. So just a really young line with a mix of the veteran Wenberg to kind of lead them in that up the ice role. Then I have Ty Dellandrea, Will Smith, and Gunstrom. So here's another place where I have a young center in Will Smith on the center position between Dellandrea and Gunstrom. These players will make sure that nobody messes with Will Smith, and you got a little skill and size to go along with Will Smith, who's not the biggest guy out there. So you got a little skill who I think could possibly, do more than what they have provided, say, for the Dallas Stars and Gunstrom for the LA Kings. You slot him in with a skilled player like Will Smith, and maybe their production goes up. I don't think that they've ever played with a more talented center than Will Smith. So I'm really excited that I produced this line, because I think that they could do some damage and show a lot of people that Dellandrea and Gunstrom have that goal scoring ability. And then I finalized it on the fourth line with Barclay Goodrow, Nico Sturm, and then I have either Klim Kostin or Luke Kunin. So this is where it gets a little bit hairy, I would say. When you add in, Celebrini, you kind of get a glut of right and left wingers, and Kostin and Kunin kind of are there. And I would say that Dellandrea, the Gunstrom, the Goodrow, the Kostin, the Kunins, all are intertwinable. So you might see, one of those guys have to sit, being scratched one night. And, we'll see how it all pans out. It breeds competition now, and that's what all you can ask for with Mike Grier setting up the team this way. He got a lot of players that compete, and so it's going to be an interesting decision on Dellandrea, Gunstrom, Kostin, Kunin, and Goodrow. I really think that it's going to be a battle to make the lineup now. So that's my top four. That's with Celebrini in the lineup and without Couture. And then on the D, I really didn't switch it up on any of the D core in any of these mocks at lines. But I have Wallman as your left shot defenseman, and then Matt Benning as your right shot defenseman on the top line. And then I have Mario Ferraro and Jan Rutta. So Mario Ferraro, I dropped him to the second line because he's the left shot defenseman. We already have Wallman. I don't really want to put them together. And also I wanted Mario Ferraro to take a step back this year in terms of minutes. So he doesn't have to, play 22 to 25 minutes a night. This way he could do like 19 to 20 minutes a night and really, just go all out in each shift. And I paired him with another really strong right-handed defenseman in Jan Ruta, give him that, I would say, veteran presence. So it's not all on Ferraro to do it all kind of thing. And then I have Vlasic / Ty Emberson. Obviously, I don't think Vlasic should be in the lineup, but with his contract, I don't know how Ryan Warsofsky is going to feel about this. And I know that Vlasic still thinks he has, some left in the tank. So I wouldn't mind, giving him, games here and there, but keep him fresh throughout the year. So I think you intertwine him with Ty Emberson, and then you obviously pair him with Henry Thrun. Henry Thrun would probably be on the left side and Emberson be on the right side once Emberson comes in. But then we just have two left-handed defensemen if Vlasic and Thrun are in. So that's the only downfall there. But anyways, that's it for the D pair. Next, I have it where I have without Celebrini, but with Couture. So basically saying Celebrini goes back to Boston University. And then this is saying, hey, Logan Couture's back from, injury. So I have William Eklund on the top line, and then I have Mikael Granlund and Fabian Zetterlund, meaning I did not change this line from last year, and this line can do what they did last year and really play well. So I really like that line. I would definitely keep it together if I could, but I would definitely break them up if Celebrini comes to town. Next, I have on the second line, I have Will Smith on the wing this time, and then I have Couture and Toffoli. So on this one, I have Smith with two veterans and in Couture and Toffoli. And, I think this line would be, really skilled and have that sniper to go along with it. So that I think that line could be, a deadly combination, to be honest. Obviously, Smith is more of a center, in my opinion, but for his first year to get to play with Couture and Toffoli, I just don't think you pass that up. Next, I have Ty Dellandrea, Alex Wenberg, and Carl Gunstrom. This is going to be like that all defense kind of line. It's going to be the shutdown line, but have some offensive upside with Dellandrea and Gunstrom. Wenberg is kind of like that defensive first center who could still put the puck in the net, but more on the power play too. So, yeah, I think that could be a great line. And then Gaudreau, Sturm, and then Costin / Cunnin again. I think that this line, again, could be that fourth line that I thought is going to be the case throughout the rest of this podcast. Next, I have it where I have it without Celebrini. So basically he's going back to Boston University. And then I have without Couture. So basically saying Couture has not come back from injury. So in that case, I have Eklund, Granlund, Zetterlund again. I have Cunnin moving all the way up to line number 2 because obviously without Celebrini and Couture, it adds in an opportunity for Cunnin to play up. So you have Cunnin, Wenberg, and Toffoli. So you have a little bit of grit in Cunnin and Wenberg, and then you have Toffoli, with the sniper. So hopefully, Wenberg can, get a ton of points with Toffoli on the wing. And Cunnin gets into those gritty areas. So that would be fun. He would be kind of like your board battler. And then on the third line, again, I have Dellandrea, but then I have centering is Will Smith. and then on the right wing, Gunstrom. So this would be kind of like the one I had up here, where you get that kid with the 2 vets to kind of protect them. And then again, Gaudreau, Sturm, and Kostin. And then with Celebrini and with Couture, obviously this is going to, create a logjam at the wing. So right now I have Granlund, Celebrini, and Toffoli, kind of like what I had up at the top here. But then I have Couture being the second line center. And then I have centering Eklund and Zetterlund. And then the third line, I have Dellandrea, Wenberg, and Smith. Again, with having Celebrini and Couture down the middle, and then Wenberg and Nico Sturm already being centers, I think Smith has to become your winger, and he goes to the third line with Dellandrea and Wenberg. And that will give, nobody's going to be messing with Will Smith out there. Smith is going to be able to, do Will Smith kind of things without anybody messing with them, and just a really good solid line. And then again, you got Gaudreau, Sturm, Cunnin / Gunstrom. So, and then, even / Kostin as well. Yeah, so I think that, if Celebrini and Couture are available, I mean, 2 really good players are going to be scratched night in and night out. And it's going to be best man plays and, hardest compete and, most skill wins out, man. I think that Mike Grier has developed a culture of in-your-face, hard-nosed hockey. And if one of these guys don't get that playing time, they're going to bring it at practice the next day or the next game, whatever game that they get into. They're going to want to produce with this much talent around the organization. And it's going to be a lot more fun for Sharks fans to watch. And I bet it's going to be super fun for Ryan Warsofsky, because he's just going to get a ton of compete out there and a lot better Sharks play than last year. But yeah, that's kind of my takes on, the Sharks signings with Alex Wenberg and Tyler Toffoli today. And how I feel that they slot in to the San Jose Sharks lineup. And it's going to be, a lot of choices that Ryan Warsofsky, has. And I think that with these signings, they're not signings for super long term. Obviously, Toffoli's only 4 years and Wenberg's only 2. So if they don't pan out, then you're not on the hook for too long. And so I feel that especially the Tyler Toffoli trade was a really good move. The Alex Wenberg free agent signing, I should say. It was one of those where I wonder if Mike Grier knows either A, Celebrini is going back to college, or B, Logan Couture is still not feeling up to par and ready to play yet, or both. So maybe you go out and get Alex Wenberg because he maybe know that situation obviously a little bit more in depth than what's been stated so far. So it's going to be interesting to see, Sharks fans, on what is to come. But that's my, thinking behind, the whole Alex Wenberg signing. So interesting stuff, and we'll see what comes of it. But stay tuned. I do still have a podcast coming out with the Sharks Pipeline. So if you're interested to hear about, all these Sharks in the organization, the younger ones that have been drafted these last couple of years and also traded for, stay tuned for that, because that one's going to be a really cool podcast. And I expect everybody to get a lot of information out of that. But aside from that, Sharks fans, that's it for me on this free agency first day roundup. We'll see if the Sharks come out and make any more free agent signings. I do believe that the Sharks can still go after a D-man, but I wouldn't suggest anything else to come in terms of forwards. Because they're already log jammed as it is. So anyways, Sharks fans, thank you for tuning in. If you like this, please send a like in there and then comment, what would be your next topic for me to go over. Appreciate it. Peace.